terms of your long. I've seen you around town, run into you at parties. You know.
Well, people have short memories, and I understand that. You don't think back of. You take Edwin Edwards, for example. I mean, if you took a poll, the average person doesn't think very highly of the guy. But if you go back into, isn't it interesting that the reporters that covered the legislature during all those years of every governor up to the present governor said the most progressive time, the most creative time, the time when good government legislation got passed was during the 1970s. So people have short memories, and I understand that. I enjoyed being in public life, but I'm enjoying being in the private sector right now. And I think what you see is what you get. Elected officials are no better or no worse than the people that put them in office. So if you're not really happy with the scenario, what we had over the years, the electorate by and large has tolerated it. There's a major debate going on right now over whether or not oil and fish blend together. And the rest of the country, I can tell you, just are dumbfounded that there's so much tolerance for the oil industry being allowed to do what they've done over the history of Louisiana, not really paid to clean up their mess. I'm not really a die-hard environmentalist per se, but I'm appalled when I go to South Louisiana. We're losing a football field of Louisiana land every hour. Now, let me just say that one more time for you folks out there that are watching this show. Every hour, a football field drops off into the Gulf of Mexico. We don't see it anymore. And over years, that's going to take up the slack. It's because of all the crisscrossing of the dredging of the canals and swamps for the oil industry, the oil pits that are there that have not been cleaned up. So now you can say to some degree, well, those elected officials in office at the time should have taken a much stronger position in, yes, allowing energy to be produced, but putting the checks and balances in so that was cleaned up at the time. And they didn't do it. We've always been a product of big oil down here. But I think it's hurt us to some degree over the fish. A lot of people don't want to eat Louisiana fish right now. They're worried about the shrimp and all the seafood here because of the oil mix. It also doesn't help that we have politicians who grandstand. We've got a lot of elected officials in Louisiana today saying, oh, we want BP to give us $350 million to monitor the seafood for the next 5 years. Because we want to be, well, I'm thinking, hey, if they got to monitor that seafood for the next 5 years, I'm not sure I want to eat that seafood. You see, kind of the Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Yeah. I was with some folks over in Mississippi that work for the governor of Mississippi. They said, I wish you folks up there kind of tone down the rhetoric. Things aren't that bad. Our beaches are open. Our seafood's okay. But you keep screaming, oh, it's terrible, how bad it is. Give us more money. And you know what happened? You're scaring the tourists away, and you're keeping the restaurants from buying your seafood. You are your own worst enemy. Now, that's what the staff of the governor of Mississippi told me a week ago. And so, it's great to pick your political issues, but sometimes we kind of play to the populace and don't use some what I call common sense in seeing that we are taken care of with our needs, but not being too greedy and not overstating our case. And I think that's what we've done in this recent oil spill.
What would you like to see different right now in Louisiana, the way things are done?
Yeah.
Anything that really stands out, you say, yes, we have to attack this problem, we have to go after this?
Well, first of all, we're $2 billion in the hole right now. And most of the elected officials of the state are afraid of the tough decisions they need to make. I'm not sure we need all the colleges we have right now. College education used to be in Louisiana. It was a guarantee. If you were a citizen, you got to go to college. And what we found is that about 2/3 of the kids had a great year joining the fraternity and getting drunk and partying all weekend, and after a year they'd drop out, they'd flunk out of school, and you and I were paying for that, you see. Well, we had the luxury maybe then, although I think we lost the chance to do a lot with our kids at the elementary and secondary level. Instead of building up a good trade school network and getting these kids more focused in high school, we put a college on every little town in the state. Everybody wanted to be an LSU. We spent massive sums of money, and then LSU wanted to be this huge giant. I'm not sure that 40,000 people should be going to LSU right now. We just don't have the money to do that. I think we need to focus these kids in high school over whether or not a college education is necessary. Our kids are borrowing $30,000 to $40,000 a year for 4 years or more. It's going to take them 10 to 15 years to pay it back. Are they going to find a job to pay them back at that level? Probably not. What we need are more people working in the service industry, in the oil industry, and doing things with their hands, but talented things with their hands as engineers. You know, math is not a big emphasis here in our schools. So I think the biggest single problem is our failure to focus on elementary and secondary education. You know, I can make an argument for shutting down most of our colleges, going back and get those kids educated at the basic level. Then we'll see the colleges fit in as the need exists, number one. Number two, the waste that we have. You take a school building. It sits there 8 hours a day for 8.5 months, and then we shut it down the rest of the time. Yet we're building junior colleges, we're building recreational facilities. That ought to be centered around the school when you're a poor state like Louisiana. Why can't we have Saturday night basketball leagues and Saturday and Sunday leagues at the school? Why are we building BREC and the YMCAs? And it's nice to have those if you can afford it, but let's get back to basics. Let's let the adults who want to take night courses do it at the high school. Let's open up the high schools on Saturdays and Sundays for all these other works. And if you want to learn art on the weekend and you want to take dance classes, we just seem to want to give everybody everything they want, and we just can't afford that anymore. We've got more golf courses, I'm told, on a per capita basis than any place in America. And if you look at the budget last year, the legislature, every little town got $200,000, $1 million to help with their golf course. We can't afford that anymore. I just don't know if the legislature, our governor, and other officials have the wherewithal, have the courage to make the tough decisions, because we're a busted state. We're a poor state. We're a state that is hugely undereducated. We're not very healthy, and yet we can't survive on the level at which we're spending. That's the single biggest problem we face today.
You think it's an issue that Louisiana is just trying to fake it until it makes it, or have they lost sight of the fact that we need to make it?
I think they're trying to fake it, and hopefully something will come and plug the hole. The contradiction of saying, oh, we don't want any stimulus money, don't send any stimulus money down here. And then we have the governor going around giving everybody the stimulus checks that he's so much opposed. The fact that on so many issues we're just trying to plug the hole. I've heard several lawyers I respect say that the legislature last year took one-time money that came into us one time there for the rainy day and used it to pay recurring expenses. So it's what you said, we're just trying to hang on. Hopefully something from the sky is going to open up and solve our problems. Look, if you look at what this country is going through right now, we're busted on a federal level. $2 billion a week that we're spending in Afghanistan, $2 billion a week. We can't afford to carry on like that, so there's no money on the federal level to help us down here. We've got to do this all by ourselves, and we've got to look at the industries, the film industry that your company and others are involved in. It's got a lot of potential down here. We've got to look at industries like that and zero in there. But we don't do that. You see, the last big grant I think that came out of the Department of Economic Development was for chicken pluckers up in Farmerville, Louisiana. Well, I mean, I'm all for plucking chickens and having lots of chicken up there, but I'm not sure that's our future. We're going to lose 500 jobs if we didn't keep the chicken plant open. Well, I'd like to, if people want to get into the chicken business, that's okay, but that's not where I put my tax dollars and your tax dollars. I put our dollars into teaching kids math and to trying to create industry that is more intensive, involving computers and electronics and things that we can build on for the future. I just don't seem to have the mindset here for that. So I think, unfortunately, and when you're in public life, you can't say this. I've got to tell you, I think we're looking towards an era of over the next few years of being fairly mediocre. Now, we'll enjoy ourselves, we'll cheer on the Saints and LSU, and we'll kind of we'll get by okay. But we're not really going to excel like this state should. You see, no other state has the natural resources. We're the largest producer of oil and gas, of seafood, of sulfur. Did you know we're the largest producer of sulfur in America? We have the largest chemical industry up and down the river. We've got so many things going for us. Then you build in the musical cultures in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and South Louisiana. The artists, I can go on and on and on. No state has that concentration considering our population. We can be very creative, but when it comes to politics, we just don't quite get it right. And to me, that's our biggest disappointment.